So I'm sitting here waiting to pick up my kids, and I've been thinking a lot about my teenagers. Because, you know, there's days that it's hard. I'm not gonna lie. I'm totally not gonna lie. But, you know, it's pretty cool because, so I have 5 kids, and they're all teens and tweens. And what I was expecting from teens and tweens is totally not what it is. I mean, I always heard like horror stories. I was like holding my breath and like biting the bullet for when all my kids turned, you know, teenagers. Like, oh my gosh, it's going to be terrible. It's going to be a nightmare. I'm going to want to lock myself in the closet and drink every night or something, you know? And I mean, like, I have a 17-year-old girl, 2 13-year-old boys, and then a 12-year-old girl and an 11-year-old boy. I mean, I just thought it was going to be a nightmare. And trust me, sometimes it is. But it's also just so cool because each one of my kids is starting to shed this, I guess they're childish personalities. The parts that were so much like, you know, me and their dad, and they're starting to evolve into who they are. They're cycling through their own tastes in music. They're, you know, picking out their own style clothes. Their personalities are emerging all their own. They have their own gifts and talents and their likes and dislikes, and I'm watching 5 humans evolve all on their own in my house, and it is like watching God paint a canvas right in front of me. And sometimes I just have to sit back and say, wow, that is so cool. I mean, yeah, giving birth to a kid, cool. Watching all these kids face their own or go through, you know, first milestones and take their first step, totally cool. Watching them roll over, totally cool. Say their first words, totally cool. Watching them as teenagers become their own person, watching them like as human beings evolve into their own people with their own personalities is just, it's so cool. It is just, it's seriously so cool. I mean, and it's not just when you hear compliments from other people, like, oh wow, they're really good kids when they're not at home. I mean, that's cool too. But like my son the other day, I was so excited about telling my husband something, and I totally interrupted him, you know, did what I tell my kids not to do. And he was like, Mom, hang on just a second, I'm talking. Not rudely at all. He said the exact same thing I would have said, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're totally a mini adult. You're a mini human. And I was like, wow, that was so appropriate and so good. Way to go. And I was like, wow, it's really cool. Just saying, sometimes we only think of them as kids. You're kids, it's my job to, you know, teach you this and teach you that, and it's my responsibility and this and this and this, and then one day you're like, wow, you're real humans. Pinocchio, he's a real boy. It's pretty cool. I know. Just saying, teenagers aren't all that bad. You know, maybe that book, Mommy Drinks Because You Cry, maybe it was a lie. I'm just saying.